I'm using this book from George Bridgman, and he has a real nice method of trying to draw eyes. Of course, we always start off, the eye is an eyeball, all right? That's what's underneath. And when we draw, if we think of what's underneath and then build on top of it, we will find our pictures are so much better. That's why I always talk about construction. Also, when we're drawing portraits, I will say draw the construction first. Ultimately, what I mean is that I want you to think of what is causing the wrinkle, what's causing the bulge in the eyebrow, what's underneath the nose, what's causing this to happen. And if you start thinking of that, then you're going to find that you start really grabbing a person's personality without even trying. Let me turn this off here. So we have an eyeball. Now, first of all, what I want you to do is I want you to think of wrapping that eyeball, the top of that eyeball, with the eyelid. So it might like come up and then down like this. You see, and you could do something like this. You see, look at that. One way to practice this, or to really get your head around it. Let's see if I have it over here. I'm looking. No, I don't. It is a lot of times I will like to take a kneaded eraser and roll it, and then wrap that kneaded eraser with a little bit of flap, like a flap of skin or something like that. So on the side view, what this might look like is you might have this flap of skin. You see that? That would be the eyelid. Okay, so we have that, and then of course we have another flap of skin underneath the eyelid, and you can see the edge like this. All right, we're just kind of, all right there. That would be the lower eyelid, and it's from a side view, it's like this. So when you draw eyes, I want you to think of these two ideas of wrapping an eyeball with that skin that goes around it. All right, let's really talk about this idea. Here's another eyeball from the side. All right, and we'll kind of do this, and then that. You see what I'm doing there? It's kind of like a Pac-Man, right? Let's move this out of the way up there. Okay. So that's essentially your eyeball down here. Your eyelashes will come from underneath like this. And usually this, I think it's right on the edge there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change this slightly because that's there. This is really how it's coming wrapping like this, and I believe your eyelashes are on the inside. Okay. All right. So right here, look at this. I'm going to draw this. This right here is your pupil. And then, of course, you have your iris around like that, okay? A lot of times, your upper eyelid is going to cast a shadow along the top. So it might be like this. And we might see that today in our pictures. And then when you have dust and things that are shooting at your eyes here, the one thing that you have protecting your eyes is the cornea. And the cornea is clear. It's like a window, and it bulges out just like this. All right? Bulges out just like that. That is really exaggerated, but I'm trying to show you, get a point across. Okay, so the sun, here's the sun. sun shines down like this. Usually the sun is above our head. Sun is hitting your eye, and this right there, that is where you're going to find your that little highlight in an eye. Typically, it's bouncing off the top of the cornea, the round part there. So this is why, generally speaking, okay. Let's just say we have a. You don't have to draw this. I'm just going to show it to you. Here's your eye. There's your iris. There's your pupil. Okay. This is why generally the highlight is going to be in the upper area of your eye, and around your eye, around that highlight, it's going to be darker in value. It's because the light is coming from on top. And if you see through that highlight, you actually see the shadow of the upper eyelid casting onto the eyeball. All right? So that's why when you are drawing eyes, make sure it's always good to add a little bit of a shadow. Make sure your highlights are up in the darker area. And always, this is a common mistake I see. Everyone makes the white of their eye pure white. Always put at least a little bit of tone there. That should never be the same. The value of the eyeball or the whites of the eyes should never be the same value as your paper. Okay? All right. Let's jump into this here now. Let's do one more thing. Let's bring that up. Okay. Here is, all right. Let's do this. Let's draw a center line. This here is the glabella. It's right here, okay? And so this is gonna lead into our nose. Let's come in here and draw just a brow. This is an eye line. Your brow line is going to be somewhere up here. So this is what George Bridgman would show. This is what George Bridgman would show. First thing, he's going to put in the tear ducts. The tear ducts. And the distance between the tear ducts is about the same width as the eye. So you could come over here and come over there, just like that. I want to make sure I got this right. Let me just double check. Okay, got it. All right. Then he's going to take his center line and put a dot way up there. I'll show you why in just a minute. This will help. And he goes like this. And he goes like this. Then he puts a dot down here like this. And he does this. All right, so this will keep your eyes in so that they are in proportion to each other. So watch now. He'll come up, he'll go across, and then he goes down. All right. Then the other side, we go up, we go across, and then we go down. You see that? So you will end up having eyes that are perfectly proportioned, and this works also in a 3/4 view. So underneath, we do a slight S curve, an S curve, You're going to hang your pupils, hang your irises. This person looks worried. There's your pupils. All right, let's do some eyelids here. I didn't intend for this person to have a worried look on their face, but they do. Give me a little shadow from those upper eyelids there. And might as well, if we've made them worried, let's get these eyebrows also, so that they will just accentuate his anxiety, okay? And let's, maybe he's got some bags under his eyes as well, huh? Is that a nice look? You like that? Okay, so this little method here of trying to get the eyes balanced. Let's use that. Yeah, let's use that in 2 examples. I've got 3 examples: a side view, and then a 3/4 view, and a front view. Let's apply that together right now. What do you say? Okay. You guys need more time, or you have that? I'll give you 30 more seconds. How about that? 30 more seconds. And while we wait, I'm going to just darken in upper eyelid here, eyelashes. Okay, let's bring up this picture right here. We'll start with that. Okay, let's go ahead and start with the center line. Wow, there's a big old monster bee right there. Okay. That's my eye line. That's my eye line. That goes right through the tear ducts, okay? There's my brow line. There's my brow line. So let's go ahead and kind of looking at the picture here. All right, so there's the glabella of this girl. Okay, there's one tear duct. There's the other tear duct. So, like I said, we want to take that distance between the tear ducts come on either side, just like that. Now this method will also work for the crease, the overlap, the not the wrinkle, but the overlap. Okay, so let's start here with the corner of the eye, and I'm looking at the picture, and I'm just going to go like this. I think that's my angle right there. So let's grab that on the other side as well. Okay, this flattens out quite a bit, so we're going to come right about there. All right, let's match that as well. Okay. Okay, let's draw our first eyelid here. So watch what I do. I'm going to come up. I'm going to come across. Look, 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, this other side, let's do the same thing. 1, 2, 3. Now, do you see that nice? S curve in her eyes down here? Let's get this right here. So it's just going to be around and then up. Same thing on this side now. I'm going to redraw that. I don't like that. There it is. Okay, so one thing I'm doing right now is I'm actually looking at my drawing of my eyes and then using the cartoon check. So I look at my drawing, I look at the picture. I look at my drawing, and I look at my picture. I go back and forth real quick to see how my proportion is. Now, so from what I could see from my own, it looks like my eyes are a little bit longer than her picture, okay? Than what I have in front of me. And why is that? Oh, I know exactly why that is. And it goes all the way back to when I just started. I originally took a look at this. I placed her 2 tear ducts, and I used this distance. I used this distance to determine the width of her eyes. You see that? And that's probably too wide, okay? So I'm just letting you know where I kind of made a little mistake there. How would I fix that? I'm not going to fix that. I'm just going to go with this the way that it is, because I just want to show you this basic concept. But we can, let's get in here now and get our pupils, and look at those. Okay, there's one. There's the other. Yeah, I could definitely tell right now that these my eyes are too wide. I should have fixed that earlier on. So check this out now. Let me show you this over here. Look at the shadow. You see the shadow right in there? Let's see. This right here. You see that's a shadow right here. That's the shadow of her eyelid casting on her eyeball, okay? Okay, let's go ahead and get her that little crease of her eyelid, right? So look at this. It kind of comes in here. All right, we can get that in just like that. How's this other one here? Okay, that one's kind of comes up, curves around, and then comes down the back side. Now this will help set us up for these eyebrows. So what I'm looking for now is I've just drawn this, and I'm looking at this negative space. You see this? And I'm going to look for this negative space. All right, let's see how we do here. So let's see, I'm going to come down here. Really keeping my eyes on that negative space. The corner of the eye extends, look at this. The corner here extends that much beyond that little corner of the eye, you see that? All right, and then yeah, so let's put some tone into that. How about the other side? Okay, this eyebrow is a little bit closer, you see that? Let's really pay attention to that negative space there. Let's come back in here and darken these pupils a little bit, these irises. She has dark brown eyes, so you can't really see the... and then let's drop that little bit of a shadow here, right? And last thing, we could really darken, drop in a thick line right above her eye, just like that for her eyelashes, and group those eyelashes. Now I've never ever put on mascara, but from what I've been told is that it adds thickness to your individual eyelashes and kind of brings them together a little bit. Oops. And then we can add some darker lines down here. Hey, my name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws. Go out there, make your day great. I will see you guys later. If you do have additional questions, please join our Facebook group. It's totally for free. Post your questions in there. You can direct it toward me, or even down here in the comments below. You could ask a question and I will try and answer it my best. My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws. All right. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Okay. Bye-bye.